You see, the same God that we're saying might not even exist becomes real to us, but only when we're dying in bed.
Day 1, I spawned in on a remote island, and regardless of what I've been told about first thing you do is punch down a tree when you spawn into a world, the first thing I did was tame a jackass. I then decided that what I have been told is probably the best route to go, so after I tamed that jackass, I then cut down a tree. I then decided to slaughter any wildlife nearby to slowly disintegrate the ecosystem. The Minecraft overlords must have really hated that horse, because the second I slayed it, I ended up finding a village. I then decided to swim across the ocean in order to get to this village while my hunger bar was completely depleted. I then spent the rest of the night stealing all of the villagers' crops from their farms and locking them in their houses to keep them safe. This creeper scared the crap out of me. I then took the first piece of dirt I ever got in this world and put it in the corner of this villager's house. I then gathered myself a little bit of stone to help me with my stone tools. I then proceed to move my piece of dirt from the corner of the villager's house to the middle. I then made my first torches of this world, and proceeded to spam them as much as I could throughout the village. Did you guys see the creeper here? Because I didn't. And just like that, we're down to 1 heart. Let's get into hiding mode. I'm going to need to fill in any creeper hole. However, that's not a day 0 problem. That's a future me problem. And just like that, the sun is coming up on day 0, meaning we have successfully survived the first day. I ended up replanting the gardens that the villagers had because I figured I could use them to, at the very least, grow some more crops while I am consuming all the other villagers' crops. After that, I proceeded to rob all of the hay bales throughout the village. This is hardcore after all. I then proceeded to plant as much sugarcane as I possibly could. I know I'm going to need to expand this to a massive amount in the future, so any little bit I can get started right now counts. I then proceeded to start a mine, and as soon as night came, I tried to go to sleep. However, it didn't work because there was monsters nearby, so I had to take care of all nearby monsters before successfully going to sleep. I don't know how this creeper actually exploded. Day 2 was spent chopping down trees. Literally all day for day 2, I just chopped down trees. I ended up taking a wandering trader captive and killing his llamas for the leads and leather. Although, if I'm being honest, he probably despawned because I didn't name tag him. I continued to work on the mine into the night of day 2. I then determined that this here is an actual copper mine. I don't know if I've come across any before, but to my knowledge, this is the first copper mine I've actually found, and I guess if it's not the first one I've found, it's the first one that I know I found, if that makes sense. Maybe I found one before and didn't realize it, but this is the first one I actually found. Not like I'm going to actually use it or anything, though, because let's be honest, who uses copper? Well, something just killed the iron golem, so I gotta go out and look for iron in a little bit. I then went to bed on day 2 to continue the adventures in the morning. Alright, let's examine really quick. This right here is a zombie villager. This zombie villager is holding a iron shovel. Zombie villagers cannot be drowned, therefore zombie villagers cannot have that glitch happen to them where they have damaged armor or damaged weapons and you kill them, and after you drown them, I guess, you kill them and you get the fully repaired item. So I don't know how this worked, but I got a fully repaired iron shovel from that zombie and I'm baffled on how. The carrot is understandable, but for the carrot and the iron shovel to both be dropped at the same time, I think that's even more rare in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong though. I then did find the iron that the iron golem dropped. It was 4 pieces. I guess the first time I said I realized it was an iron mine, I technically didn't realize it then because I was still just digging downwards, but then I came back to try to mine out the little bit of copper that was around me to get a little bit of EXP, and I realized that it wasn't stopping. It seemed like after a few blocks more copper would appear, and after a few more blocks more copper would appear, and that's when I realized this must be a copper mine, so I'm not going to keep digging it out. Well, I found a cave. However, I'm probably not going to explore it right now, being that I have literally no armor. After I get myself a little bit of armor, specifically iron armor, then I will probably be more keen to exploring caves, but until then I'm just going to keep digging downwards, trying to get to around -35, -40-ish. Then I'm going to look for more caves and hopefully find a pool of lava somewhere. However, before I do any of that, I need to go to sleep and start day 4. I then cooked some stone into the furnace so I could cook it a second time and turn it into smooth stone. I then proceeded to make my first bucket of the world. I think the corpse of the iron golem will be happy being a bucket. And on the morning of day 5, can you guys guess what I found? Diamonds! Well, I didn't have any iron except 4 raw iron that I have found throughout digging, so I decided to throw that 4 raw iron into a furnace and make myself an iron pickaxe so I can grab those diamonds. I found another cave opening down at -35. However, like I said a second ago, I've only found 4 pieces of iron, and 3 of those I've turned into an iron pickaxe. So I have 1 piece of iron, and yeah, I can't do anything with 1 piece of iron. I used the 4 pieces of iron from the iron golem to make a shield and a bucket, so I literally have 1 piece left, and I don't want to explore this cave until I have at least a decent set of armor. I then spent the rest of day 5 putting in stairs to make it a little faster going upwards. I then decided to explore that first cave I came across, and honestly, it had some fairly decent resources in it. I didn't go too deep because of how big it was, but I ended up grabbing all the resources that I could around the lighted area. I was perplexed by the height of this guy, but apparently he didn't like the staring and thought it was rude. I got me a little bit of lapis laying around. Along with that, I stripped every bit of iron that was in the nearby vicinity. At the beginning of day 6, I was still mining away at all the iron I could find. Here's the first time I got redstone. Honestly, guys, I don't think I need to show the first time I get an item here or there or whatever, but I just feel like it's better to show it because 1, you can see me getting it for the first time, obviously, and 2, if 5, 10, 20 years down the road, I look back on a hardcore world that I have, I can be like, hey, look at this stuff. This was the first time I got this resource. So yeah, I just feel like it's good to have that type of quote-unquote, history in the video. So, with all the resources in hand and a half stack of iron, I ended up going back to my little makeshift base to put everything away into safekeeping. So, after I made this iron sword, I ended up going a little bit on a killing spree. I have now acquired enough food to last a while and 15 pieces of leather. And at about 12 noon on day 6, I ended up making my full set of iron armor. Day 6, and I'm frantically clicking my bed, trying to get to sleep so I can try out my new iron armor in the morning without breaking it instantly. I then decided to build a bridge. If I'm high enough off the ground that the mobs can't hurt me, I can't die. If my bridge isn't lit up, however, mobs can spawn on it, and it defeats the purpose of having a bridge. I then decided to place torches all around the cave system, and while I did so, I ended up taking out any mob that got in my way. My first slime balls of the world. Yeah, call me a schizophrenic, but I really feel like Mojang secretly doubled or tripled the creeper spawn rate in hardcore mode without telling us, because I have never, ever had this many close encounters with creepers, ever, in my other hardcore world. Bro had his no dude zone too close to my face, I had to cut it off. I don't know why, but I decided to keep working on the tunnel that I was making and digging it farther. I'm not sure if I was trying to get to negative 500 or just 0 or what I was doing, but at about this point I hit some iron, grabbed that iron, and I couldn't see the block in front of me, so I ended up mining it and realizing that it was an entire raw iron block, and raw iron blocks only mean that it's an iron mine, so I quickly headed back to base to basically get ready to harvest an iron mine in a little bit. They did something with the creeper spawns. Call me crazy, but they did something. And that's how I ended day 7 off, guys. A little side note as well, I don't know if this has been mentioned by anybody else, but I feel like the inventory button, specifically like, you know, the button that lets you go into your inventory, like the little 3-dot one, I feel like it has gotten smaller or was accidentally moved by the people at Mojang, but the graphics slash, little button logo is still in the same spot. I only say this because I'm having to click a little bit above the inventory button in order to actually go in my inventory. Otherwise, I end up just clicking the ground next to me, and I'm like, what? It makes no sense. I know I'm not, I know I'm not clicking next to the inventory button, as I've been clicking the inventory button for over a year in this game now, and I haven't had that problem until just now in this update. I decided that I would make my first bow and fishing pole on day 8. I then started building some villager pods so I could exploit the villagers easily. I am not sure if the villagers are set to the quote-unquote 1.21 update, as that's what they were calling it, like a 1.21 update villager trading thing. So I'm not sure if that's what they're on, but if they are, then I'm going to need to find a swamp biome if I'm correct, and I'm going to need to get a mending villager. And that concludes day 8. Day 9 was spent clearing out this geode and then lighting up the cave system that I ended up accidentally tunneling into. While cleaning out this geode, I ended up finding more diamonds. Okay, 1 diamond, but it was a diamond nonetheless. As nightfall came, I went above ground and started torching all of the land that was unlit. I then made my first diamond pickaxe on the night of day 9. And I decided to harvest and replant the sugarcane that I had growing. And as the sunrise was starting to come up, I went to bed on day 9. Day 10, and it's another day of nothing but cutting down trees. I then ended up making more torches. I seemed to run through them like water. And I decided to level off this beach as it would give me some sand and look a little nicer. After that fun adventure, I ran back to shelter and went to bed on day 10. I then made a new iron sword and an iron axe, because obviously my main sword was almost broke and I needed an iron axe. Can you guess what I did for most of day 11? It was spent chopping down trees. Although at the end of day 11, I did venture to the back of the village and I found 3 pumpkins and a little cave that I made shelter in for the night. Can you guys believe day 11 is the first day I found coal? Dang. And just like that, day 11 is over. Guys, I want to take this day 12 as a checkpoint and ask you guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, to please subscribe. And if you are enjoying the video, then hey, don't forget to like. Oh, look, it's the cute multicolored dog. I then ended up taking those 3 pumpkins that I found and making myself a little pumpkin farm. That's basically all I did. Just like that, day 12 is over. I told you that's basically all I did. Day 13 was mostly collecting sand, killing animals, making torches, and stealing all the crops from the villager's garden. I then made my first flint and steel on day 13. And day 13 is over. Now, knowing where those diamonds are, I went to bed on the night of day 14. And a few more diamonds. I guess one more diamond for extra measure. I then finally finish cleaning all of the normal amethyst out of this geode and leave all of the budding amethyst so I can harvest it later. While I was trying to find the top of this iron mine, I accidentally stumbled upon another geode. I then went to bed before actually trying to clean out this geode. And this is what the geode looks like afterwards. Can you guess how long it's been? I'll give you a hint. It's been a whole day. Day 17 was spent basically doing nothing but cleaning out this iron mine. Actually, I think day 18 was spent doing the same thing as well. If you don't want to see me just doing nothing but sitting here mining this iron mine, then I recommend skipping ahead about 2 to 2.5 minutes. And just like that, guys, we are out of the iron mine with a whole bunch of deep slate, a whole bunch of amethyst, a whole bunch of tough, and about a stack of iron. And that concludes day 19. Honestly, after this, I ended up checking my recording to make sure I was actually still recording, and I was. Day 20 was spent digging out this hole. I have some big plans for it. Yeah, day 20 was not very eventful. I'm not sure if you guys noticed my camera shaking like my guy's having a seizure, but that is not me doing it. That's what happens when I end up playing on Minecraft for too long, apparently. I don't know why. It doesn't do it with any other game, and it hasn't ever done it to me when I've used a controller. So the only thing I can think of is basically after touching the screen so much or whatever, or touching the screen for hours, the game decides that the touches aren't as accurate as they should be, and then tries to determine where it should be located instead of where it's actually at, so you just got to restart the game to recalibrate that. Speaking of recalibration, this guy should have practiced his aim before he came after me. He shot like a stormtrooper. By the way, I think that was the first pillager I killed on this world, and that's also the end of day 21. And I made another diamond pickaxe to help me finish mining out this cave. And the end of day 22. If you can't tell, this is what I did for day 23, and honestly, this is probably what's going to be happening for a lot of days. For the sole fact that if I want to survive 100 days, 1,000 days, or even 10,000 days, I'm going to need to build some massive farms. And in case anybody is wondering why I'm killing every llama, horse, and cow that I see, I'm doing it simply for the leather. I need like 100 pieces of leather, and yeah, that's not cheap. So I need to kill everything in sight. And that's the end of day 23. I made myself a jack-o'-lantern so I could create an iron golem if need be. I then proceeded to pick all the sugarcane I could, and then replant it along the ocean's bank. With more lighting around me and more leather to my name, I decided to call day 24 a night. Day 25 was spent making my villager pods. Day 25 is successfully over. Day 26, I was using the passive mob's blood for a bath. I also ended up starting my fish farm on day 26. And day 26 is also successfully over. For day 27, I finished setting up my fish farm, massacring a few more animals, and making sure the collecting system underneath was set up properly. Day 28 has the same results as day 27. I wanted to make sure this fish farm still actually worked after 1.21. Oh yeah. And at the end of day 28, I ended up taking a nap in the villager's new bed. Day 29 was spent doing nothing but fine-tuning the collection system. I guess there was a little bit of shearing and animal slaughtering mixed in with day 29, but that's to be expected from me by now. On the night of day 21, Minecraft decided to reset my buttons back to the default settings, except my joystick was in the middle of the screen. I don't know why, so I tried to restart the game and see if that worked, and it did not. So then I had to go and actually change the settings manually to put my buttons back to the way they were. After that was done and my buttons were all back to the way they were supposed to be, I decided to call it a night on day 29. I'm sure you guys already know what I did on day 30, but in case you didn't, I ended up manually fishing a few times just to obviously make sure it still worked again because I was a little paranoid after the update. But after that, I ended up turning on my auto clicker and AFK fishing while I actually passed out for a few hours. Day 31, and I am still auto-fishing, auto-clicking, auto-fishing, I don't know what you want to call it, but I was auto-something, okay? And just so I am being 100% transparent with you guys, I actually was on the world for 6 hours and 40 minutes while I was either doing stuff, attempting to sleep, or passed out, but my auto-clicker only clicked for about 3-ish hours because after that time, the video ended up stopping, and then it just showed, the video on the screen and wouldn't allow my auto-clicker to click on the screen until I exited out of the video. So I probably auto-fished for about 4 hours out of those 6 hours and 40 minutes, but I figured I would let you guys know, like I said, just to give 100% transparency. And again, like I said, 5 hours and 40 minutes of gameplay. Here's a little video for you. I know this probably isn't impressive to most people, but I'm impressed with myself that I was able to turn 5 hours and 40 minutes of footage into 5 minutes and 20 seconds. At the dawn of day 47, I decided to check how much loot I gathered from about 4 hours of fishing, and to be honest, this is not that much in my opinion. So I grabbed a few bows that I wanted to combine together, and then I ended up grabbing all the leather boots and making them fully repaired. I then went back into the cave systems to get myself some more iron. Day 48, and I found a beautiful 6 vein of diamonds. More diamonds, and honestly guys, I didn't even see these until I turned around. A nice little 3 vein. I gave myself a little jump scare here. Obviously, if I explore a cave, I have to kill everything in the said cave. I left some of the thunder in because, yeah, the thunder was actually jump scaring me too. For some reason, I got jump scared from falling, and then right after that, the game was like, I know what I'm gonna do, and it decided to scare the crap out of me for like 3 minutes. However, thunder means dark skies, and dark skies mean phantoms, and phantoms mean slow falling potions. I made 3 blocks of iron and then turned those 3 blocks of iron into an anvil. With the god bow on hand, I was ready to kill some phantoms. And in that same night, I got my first phantom kill. And at the dawn of day 49, I got my second phantom. The sun put a little bit of a tamper on my phantom killing spree. However, I'll just continue killing more tonight. I just extended the sugarcane. I got my first piece of cooked copper here. Sadly, this guy did not drop a trident, but I got a second cooked piece of copper. Ah, look at that sunset in the horizon. You know what that means. And with 2 phantom membranes in my chest, 2 phantom membranes in my inventory, and 2 on the ground, I called day 49 a night. AFK fishing again on day 50 so I could make some food. After the food was consumed, I decided the best course of action would be to fall asleep for day 50. But before that, I really quick made all the books I could with the leather I had on hand. Day 51, I decided I needed some obsidian finally. And yeah, that took all day 51. I got 32 pieces. On the night of day 51, I placed all the bookshelves in the correct pattern in order to activate the enchanting table. And on the night of day 51, I made my first grindstone. I made my first diamond axe on day 52. I was cutting down some trees and found some drowned zombies hiding in the brush, so I decided I would kill them and see if I could maybe get some of that golden armor off of them, and it turns out it was all fully repaired. More sugarcane expansion. Day 53, and I'm sure you guys can guess what I'm doing again, but I'm auto fishing. I end up auto fishing for about 16-ish days, give or take. I know the exact time, so I ended up correlating the time over to days and showing you the final day results at the end. And that is where I'm going to be ending this video, guys. I know it's technically not 100 days, but I'm going to be making a part 2 and probably more parts on this series. If you guys did enjoy this video, then hey, a like and or subscription would be amazing. I'm currently at a shooting range at the moment, which is probably why it sounds so loud. Yeah, but like I said, if you guys enjoyed the video, a like and subscription would be amazing. Stay tuned for part 2, and peace out, everyone. See ya.